Hey everyone, welcome to this technical briefing. Today we're diving deep into the developer-grade AI updates from Google I/O 2026, and honestly, the title says it all. Google I/O 2026 just changed Android forever. We are going to look at how these massive updates fundamentally rewire the entire Android ecosystem right from the middle up. If you're a power user, an app dev, or just a total architecture nerd like me, you are going to love this. We aren't just looking at a laundry list of consumer features today. No, we are breaking down a complete paradigm shift. We're talking about moving from an era of passive software, stuff that literally just sits there waiting for your input, to a living ecosystem of active background agents that operate autonomously. And to pull this off, well, we also need to talk about the entirely new XR hardware required to run it, completely untethered from a traditional smartphone screen. So grab your notes because the scope of what we're covering today is absolutely massive. Okay, so here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the core models and compute limits. Then, we'll get into agentic workflows with Gemini Spark. Third, we're covering UI, Android Halo, and data migration. Fourth up is Google TV and agentic hubs. Fifth, we'll dive into the hardware side with the new Android XR glasses. And finally, number 6, generative media and content verification. All right, let's jump straight into section 1, core models and compute limits. Everything we're talking about today relies on a massive infrastructure shift at the foundational compute layer. The sheer velocity of the new Gemini 3.5 Flash model is, frankly, staggering. Google built this on their highly specialized TPU 8T and 8i architectures, which they custom designed specifically for high-efficiency training and inference. What does that mean for you? It means Gemini 3.5 Flash brings true frontier-level intelligence right down to the API level, and it operates at a blistering 4 times the speed of competing models when you look at output tokens per second. 4 times! For developers relying on search APIs and high-volume background calls, this massive reduction in latency is the holy grail. I mean, it's the core engine that makes real-time active background agents even possible. Because think about it, you just can't build a persistent, helpful AI if the user is sitting there waiting 5 seconds for every single server response. Gemini 3.5 Flash basically eliminates that friction entirely. And with this incredible leap in raw horsepower comes a much-needed shift in how the ecosystem actually bills for usage. Listen, if you're a power user or an enterprise developer, you're going to love this. Say goodbye to those flat, rudimentary daily prompt limits. Instead, the platform is moving to an intelligent compute-used billing model. A simple text extraction or a quick classification query uses way less compute power than, say, an iterative coding prompt or a heavy multimodal video generation request, right? So this new model dynamically bills you based on the actual brain power your specific prompt requires. If you're building lightweight apps, your limits are going to stretch so much further now. It's just a drastically more efficient, granular way to allocate cloud resources, especially for those heavy users running batch processes. Moving right along to section 2, agentic workflows featuring Gemini Spark. As we move up the stack to the middleware layer, this is where Gemini transforms from a passive chatbot into an active, working partner. The very first manifestation of this shift is the daily brief agent. Now, this isn't just a basic text summary of your unread emails. It's a completely automated morning triage system. Daily Brief securely hooks into your workspace data to sift through your massive, messy Gmail inbox, pull critical deadlines right out of your calendar, and actively organize your entire schedule into a super personalized morning digest. It literally pushes your most urgent goals straight into Google Tasks and suggests immediate next steps. And the coolest part? It's adaptive. You steer its logic over time with a simple thumbs up or thumbs down, so it effectively learns your specific workflow inside and out. But the absolute powerhouse here is Gemini Spark. Powered by the new anti-gravity system harness, Gemini Spark is basically your 24/7 personal agent. It manages really complex cross-platform workflows directly inside tools like Gmail and Docs. Because it operates on MCP, that's the Model Context Protocol, it maintains a stateful connection and runs completely in the cloud. That means Spark keeps working even if your laptop is slammed shut or your phone is locked in your pocket. Imagine telling it to monitor a back-and-forth email thread with a vendor, extract the revised pricing whenever a new message drops, automatically update your shared Google Sheet, and draft a response in Docs for your approval. That's real heavy lifting work, and it's handled for you asynchronously in the background. It's wild. Which brings us to section 3, UI, Halo, and data migration. Obviously, to support these crazy persistent background agents, the mobile interface itself needed a massive overhaul. Enter Android Halo. So developers have had this huge UX challenge. How do you show background AI processing without completely blocking the main UI thread or just bombarding the user with annoying notifications? Halo is the answer. It provides this really elegant, non-intrusive monitoring layer right at the very top of your screen. It's a subtle, glowing communication mechanism that lets you see exactly what Gemini Spark is working on, track its progress, and confirm when a task is done. And you never have to break your flow state or leave the app you're currently in. It's just brilliant design. And perfectly complementing Halo is the new Neural Expressive Design Language. Google has fundamentally reimagined the visual UI for the AI era. Neural Expressive ditches the old wall-of-text chatbot responses. Instead, it introduces dynamic typography that scales based on context, vibrant color palettes that shift to reflect the AI's processing state, and incredible haptic feedback. Interacting with these agents suddenly feels fluid and physical. We're talking cleanly generated inline images, interactive timelines, and modular data widgets that developers can easily hook directly into. Now, I know what you power users are thinking. You've spent the last year building up this massive context library and intricate system instructions in another LLM, and the idea of starting from scratch sounds awful. Well, Google completely eliminated that friction. They built a direct data migration pathway. You literally just export a zip file of your chat history and system prompts from your legacy provider, go in your Gemini settings, hit import, and upload the zip. That's it. Gemini seamlessly analyzes thousands of past interactions to instantly restore your intelligence base, your coding quirks, your relationship maps, and your complex workflow histories. You don't lose a single drop of context. Let's look at Section 4, Google TV and Agentic Hubs, because this agentic framework is expanding way past your mobile phone. Let's talk digital commerce, because the new Universal Cart is an incredibly sophisticated agentic hub. It manages your shopping workflows persistently across Google Search, YouTube reviews, and even Gmail promos. Let's say you're doing something complex, like building a custom PC. As you throw a motherboard in your cart from one retailer, a CPU from another, and RAM from a third, the Universal Cart actively cross-references the hardware in the background. It will proactively flag socket incompatibilities or bottleneck issues and suggest alternatives that fit your exact build. Plus, since it's natively built on Google Wallet, it automatically applies your saved merchant loyalty data and figures out the best credit card perks for checkout. It's like having a personal shopper who's also an IT expert. And over in the living room, Gemini is totally transforming Google TV. We're moving way past basic text searches for movie titles. Now, Gemini provides rich visual search answers. You can ask a question about a recipe while watching a cooking show and instantly pull up a video tutorial, or trigger a deep dive narrated walkthrough on an educational documentary. You can even get these custom narrated sports briefs that summarize your favorite leagues right before the live game starts. And yes, these features are aggressively expanding globally. So to our friends in Australia, New Zealand, and Great Britain, get ready, because these powerful voice and visual assistants are rolling out to you in spring 2026. All right, Section 5, Hardware and the Android XR Glasses. We've reached the physical hardware layer, designed for the ultimate screen-free ambient computing experience. These are the very first true Android XR audio glasses, engineered through a massive partnership. You've got Samsung handling the onboard processing, Qualcomm providing the ultra-low power silicon, and premium frame designs from brands like Gentle Monster and Warby Parker. But here is the absolute most disruptive part: connectivity. These audio-only glasses completely shatter traditional ecosystem walled gardens. They offer full cross-platform support. Yep, they pair seamlessly with both Android devices and the iPhone. This is a huge strategic move by Google, proving they view the AI assistant itself as the next major platform, bringing frontier intelligence to anyone, regardless of what phone is in their pocket. So how does this work in the real world? Well, these glasses intentionally have no screen. You just tap the side of the frame and you instantly access Gemini's multimodal vision and audio. With the onboard cameras and ultra-sensitive mics, you can get spoken languages translated in real time right into your ear, or receive natural turn-by-turn navigation based on exactly where your head is pointing. You can even ask Gemini to analyze your physical surroundings, like, hey, decode this confusing city parking sign. Can I legally park here? It's a completely hands-free way to execute complex background tasks while your phone stays buried in your back. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 6, Generative Media and Content Verification. At this final layer of the stack, we look at how the infrastructure processes generative media. The newly unveiled Gemini Omni Flash model is a monumental leap forward. AI is rapidly shifting from just guessing the next word in a sentence to actually simulating reality based on physics and light. Gemini OmniFlash takes rich multimodal inputs, so you can seamlessly mix descriptive text prompts with your own uploaded images, and it spits out incredibly high-quality cinematic video. And for creators, this is huge. You can apply camera zooms, tweak the lighting, or swap out backgrounds using totally natural conversational language. It takes video editing from a highly technical, clunky GUI skill to a fluid, prompt-based conversation. And for audio, it's basically a studio in your pocket. Google integrated the Lyria 3 model directly into the Gemini app. It lets anyone, casual users or devs, generate crazy, complex, custom music tracks just by typing a mood or uploading a reference photo. Lyria 3 handles an unbelievable amount of synchronized processing in seconds. It writes the instrumental, drafts custom lyrics based on your prompt, and perfectly syncs the vocals to the beat for a studio-quality 30-second track. It even generates custom cover art using the new Nano Banana image model, so your track is instantly ready to share. But of course, with all this unprecedented generative power comes the absolute need for robust security and content integrity. Google is tackling this head-on by massively expanding SynthID, their imperceptible watermarking tech, alongside C2PA content credentials. What this means is that every single piece of audio, video, or image generated by Gemini carries a permanent, mathematically verifiable signature, one that actually survives compression and cropping. Whether you're a developer building platforms, a publisher protecting your work, or just a user scrolling the web, you can systematically verify the true origins of the media. It is an absolutely crucial foundation for trust as we move into an AI-generated future. Which brings us to the ultimate question for every developer, designer, and power user building in this space. This profound shift from passive tools to active, persistent background agents completely rewrites the rules. Between Gemini Spark seamlessly handling multi-step tasks in the cloud and Android XR hardware removing the need for a physical screen entirely, how are you going to adapt? How do you rethink your software architecture for an interface-free future where the AI acts autonomously on behalf of the user? It's a fascinating, disruptive paradigm shift, and it guarantees that the Android ecosystem will never be the same. Thank you so much for joining me for this technical briefing, and good luck building in this entirely new era of computing.